Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, creepy friends. Welcome to Slams and Bobs. Why is this camera not right today? In the lovely run-up to Through the Looking Glass, which is on release this Friday. Yay! Oh my god, I cannot believe how excited I am. Me and this little thing here, my weird little Chess, who's got Nixie on it. Little Chess is weird because he looks like a Joker. Chess has a mouth, right, that has these big black lines going up it, and he looks like a Joker cat, so I have to like rub his fur down so that you can't see it. But I think his eyes are extra specially cute. He may be coming to the cinema with me. Why not? So in the run-up, and because I have this lovely Alice in Wonderland palette, which is pretty much sold out just about anywhere you can go now, I am going to recreate some of the looks that I feel are cool. The main three that come to mind are absolutely the Mad Hatter, which we're going to do today, and then I'm thinking Erasabeth and Morana as well, the Red and White Queen respectively, but they're harder because obviously Erasabeth just has these big blue eyes and Morana is quite pale with just a really defined lip, so maybe we're just gonna do the Hatter. Who knows, I might try and do something fun tomorrow. I don't know. The hat is interesting because he has so much colour going on in his eye, and with all these shades in here I can absolutely create a look of it. Bear in mind, I am not copying exactly the way Johnny Depp looks in this film. I am going to do completely my own rendition of this, merely using the colours, and I have not planned this. I am ad-libbing it 100%, so if I screw up, feel free to laugh. So before I go any further, all I have done today is moisturise my skin, and I've just invested in a new number 7 eye cream, which is the one for 30 plus because my early defence ones seem to be letting me down a little bit. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is actually use a blob of concealer on the whole eyelid, and I'm going to use the Laura Geller Real Deal Concealer in Light, which is the fairest shade that I have seen in this concealer. Just a tiny amount is needed because that will basically provide a smoother base for the eye. It's going to fall off. To then start applying makeup to, and I'm just going to sponge it on like that and then wipe. I know you're not supposed to wipe with a beauty blender, I'm sorry, but this is the way it works for me. Ha! You see how much smoother that looks compared to this eye now? It also erases any red pigment as well, and even though we're going to apply the lid primer in a sec, it's just going to give that final little or extra little boost to make the eye more of a smooth base and all that jazz. So my eyelid primer, I've got two options. I've got the anti-aging or I've got minor sin, and I'm just going to go ahead and just use a little that's a new word, of anti-aging because I don't actually want any other colour to seep through with this. And I'm literally, this is a travel size tube. I have had it for yonks and I have to say it's almost running out. I'm going to have to get a big size tube. All I'm going to do is literally pat that on my eye because obviously I don't want it to disturb the concealer we've just applied. I only need literally like that much. This is Urban Decay, also like the palette, and it is a phenomenal product at keeping eyeshadow on the eye. Okay, so I'm going to use my iPad to show you photos of this. So this, oh great, my window. Okay, you're going to have to look at it from that angle. So this is one from the battle scene in the first movie. And then you have this one from one of the this is one of the ones that I just found hanging around on Google. So you can see there's pink, there's blue, but on this side of the eye, he's also got lilac pigments. And then if we come to this one, which is the promo photo, which is kind of nuts, you can see distinct amounts of white, which we're going to do, pink and blue. So I think the main colours I'm actually going to stick with are going to be those pinks and blues. How I'm going to do it yet, I don't know. Keep watching. Probably one of the most interesting things about this palette for me is that Hatter is actually a turquoise colour, yet there's hardly any shade of turquoise on Hatter's makeup at all. I don't think it's a fail by Urban Decay, I just don't think they fully thought that through. Cake is in the pink shade, and then we have Metamorphosis, I couldn't read that, Metamorphosis, which is the blue. These are probably the primary two shades, but we've also got Bandersnatch up here. but I think Metamorphosis is more to it. I could also use Salars and Glum under the eye because there's elements of red under the eye that I can see. So it's really just a free-for-all almost. Hatter's makeup doesn't make logistic sense, which is absolutely the hat down to a T. Another thing to remember, I am not a professional makeup artist. I have no skills in putting on makeup. I'm just playing. So please prepare for me to use the wrong brushes, do the wrong techniques. As long as it looks good, I don't care what I do. I don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of the fun. So I'm going to take, I think, Reflection, which is this shade here, which is just a neutral shade, and I'm going to start that as my base, and I'm just going to sweep that all over the eyelid just to base it out and give me something to build on. So that's just a base coat. It doesn't really show up very much. It's not doing anything. It is just acting as my first base. I've now scratched all over Royal with my eyeshadow brush. Lovely. So looking at it, his eyes are actually used with quite a white eyeliner. This is where it kind of gets interesting, because this is when you're sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? I actually think it would be cool. Take Royal Flush, and I'm going to take it with the small end of this brush that I have here. This is actually a cargo brush that came out of another palette. Sweep that right onto the brush, and then what I think I'm going to do is make a light stripe on the eye, almost lining it all the way across. I know you're supposed to use minimum amounts of product when you're doing these kind of things, but we need quite a light line, so do get the brush right in there. So that will give you the white line effect that his eyes have. So next I'm going to go with Metamorphosis. I'm almost going to build, I think, shadow upon shadow here, and I may give it a quick blend at the end, but I don't know, I may leave it as is. For this I'm going to go in with the Eco Tools brush, which has this fluffy end and this kind of short stippled end, and that is what I'm going to go over Royal in. So I'm going to dab it in, and you want not too much colour, because obviously I don't want to end up gloopy, but we also want to end up with quite a line of it along here. So I'm going to take, there you go. Try not to bleed it into your Royal Flush line if you can help it. I love this shade. I think that's cool. I don't think it's an everyday shade, admittedly. So that is what I have so far. I've got two nice distinctive lines here with the blue, which gives me some space on this upper lid here. But as you can see, his eyes are predominantly all blue over. So the question is, what am I going to do next? This is where we start to have a little fun, because now I'm kind of ad-libbing. And I'm thinking, since there's purpley shades on the other eye, I think we should use a little Gone Mad, and then maybe mix it in with perhaps a lighter shade, maybe Looking Glass, to kind of make it a lavender. And I think then I may just frame it up and then start on the under eye. Come back to this cargo brush for that, and I'm going to try and not get too much product on this, because this is obviously a very deep shade. Okay, I'm going to come up. That's actually a pretty cool look, I have to say. It's quite Neapolitan in a lot of ways, and I know I haven't quite hit that purple right yet, but I'm kind of going to pull it out almost to a line. I think I want just a little bit more blue, I have to be honest. I think I'm going to come back in with Metamorphosis and just redefine the blue part, because the blue is kind of the most important. The last thing I'm going to do is just transfer this side of this Eco Tools brush, and I think I'm going to use the shade Lily, and I'm just going to rub that in, not too much, and then I'm just going to frame up here just a little bit to blend out the purple and kind of make it more of a lilac-y tinge. Come back in again, just a little swirl, you don't want too much. And then I tend to do like circular, small circular motions going up to emphasize the shading. Oh my god, I have to go to work like this later. Ah, who cares? Now for underneath the eyes, I'm actually going to use this flat brush, and if it's wrong, I'm sorry, but this is the way I'm going to do it. And I think, I don't know, I definitely want to use Cake, so I'm going to start with Cake, and I'm just going to take a few swipes of it. It doesn't seem to be coming out so much on this brush, but I can't tell because it's red. And then I'm going to come right under the lash line here. I feel so mad hat right now, let me tell you. Oh my gosh, this is fun. I should do this every day. I'm just going to frame it in, and then I'm going to start sweeping it just under the eyeball, right like that. And I'm not taking it all the way across, I'm coming to about this point of the eye. And then I think I'm going to take this smaller flat end brush that I have, and I'm just going to take a nick of Salazar Glum into it as well. Salazar Glum is quite pigmented, so do be careful with that. And then I'm just going to come in, and the same technique, pull it down to give that framing. And it also emphasises the pink a lot more. And I'm kind of happy with that. I think that looks really cool. So I have a basic white eyeliner here that I'm going to give a quick sharpen to before we go any further. Now it's up to you, I guess. You could always go over your Royal Flush line here with some more white, but I'm not going to because I'm quite happy leaving it with that kind of look. So I'm going to take the white on the inner waterline here, and I would advise you going back and doing this again before you go out, because this is just a basic Rimmel soft kohl liner, let me tell you before I go any further, but you will need to redo it. Obviously if you've got an Urban Decay one, the likelihood is it's going to stay on longer, but this is the only one I have at the present time. And then I'm going to take it right into that inner corner, and I'm going to bring it down onto the actual eye. There you have an entirely ad-libbed and made up on the spot Johnny Depp Mad Hatter inspired eyeshadow using the help of this lovely Urban Decay Alice palette right here. So we used about 4 or 5 colours with this. We obviously started out with Royal Flush, went into Metamorphosis with the blue. I then had Gone Mad above the Metamorphosis, and I just came out as a lilac with Lily, I believed I used, just really to blend the shade out. And then underneath we came in with Cake and Salazar Glum to create that red pink tinge. And I have to say I'm quite proud of myself at this look. And then we obviously just framed that inner rim with the white just to give that final emphasis of it. So I'm going to go and finish getting ready now that I have all of the eyeshadow on, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes with the finished foundation look and everything. Obviously I'm not going all out pale white like the Hatter, but I need to do my eyebrows and other stuff, so I'll be back in a few. So all I did was just run through quickly and apply a bit of foundation. I've actually used the Laura Geller Baked, Balance and Brighten. This is the mega size set you may have seen on QVC UK or not. This is probably one of my favourite ones to use for this because it is so super pale, so it really brings out that pigment that Johnny Depp has about his skin as the Mad Hatter. I will apologise for this red piece here. I had a little bit of a pimple going on and it doesn't seem now to want to cover up. I apologise about that. It will go down before I go to work, thankfully. Let me tell you, I should have concealed my under eyes before I did all this because I hadn't thought that through. So I basically, the only additional thing I did was I did a very fine line of black eyeliner. I used Bare Minerals' Lasting Liner for this because it is so super fine that it really will just get right in there. To sharpen it, I mean, usually with those, because they're a glimmer stick and they're not the Stay Sharp by Smashbox, just like sharpen it delicately in a normal sharpener. You just have to really watch what you're doing with it. It is possible to do. So all I'm going to run through now is the final things I'm going to do. So I'm done with mascara, but I do have a quick thought we're going to get onto at the end. So just to finish, I'm going to run back under my eye quickly with Cake and Salazar Glum, just because where I've obviously applied foundation and stuff, it's kind of faded ever so slightly, but now I can't find any of my eyeshadow brushes. Christ knows what I've done with those things.
I didn't put them back, did I? Oh, I put them all back. Ha, I'm an idiot.
Okay, I'm going to come back with Cake. Just a little smidge, and I'm just going to redefine under the eye slightly, pulling it up to that, and then come back and do the same with Salazar Glum, just blending it out to create that reddy pink shading. Give it a blend with your finger. That's the thing with a hatter, it doesn't have to be spot on perfect. I'm not trying to achieve this beautiful well-made look. I'm doing the Mad Hatter, and the Mad Hatter is mad. So there are actually a couple of other looks we could do for the Mad Hatter, because obviously his look this year in this film is, it seems like he's got two different styles of makeup. He's obviously got the angry Mad Hatter where it's all quite black and grey, but I haven't actually seen the film yet, so I don't really know what's going on. I do hope it isn't. I've read some bad reviews, so I hope it's not bad. I think the first movie got quite badly blasted, but I will be honest, I'm slightly worried that Tim Burton hasn't directed this one. So I'm just going to go back in with the white Rimmel liner and just redefine all this. If you have slightly evil under eyes like me, it might be best to just pull your lid down slightly. And again, I'm just going to blend it slightly with my finger, just so that it looks nice. Just do the waterline once more, just to emphasize eye size. My god, I look like Twiggy. Okay, so for a cheek colour, the Hatter's cheeks are actually fairly blush pink, so you can see he's got that real emphasized pink cheek. I'm not going to go all out with that, but I am going to do a variation of it. So I was looking for Ruby Radiance or Aubergine, which are Bare Minerals, these cheek shades. I'm thinking Aubergine's going to be better. Yeah, I think Aubergine. Aubergine, I'll show you the shade of it quickly on my hand. It's a fairly deep pink shade. That's kind of its shading, but obviously I'm not going to go that pink, so it's kind of more to Hatter's style. So I'm going to get my lid, I'm going to take a little bit, literally this is all I'm going to use. I'm not going to use tons. These things are highly pigmented, so you do not need to use a lot, let me tell you. Find my Spectrum little angled brush that's normally just a life-saving brush, and I'm going to take it in there, and I'm literally going to follow this line like Hatter has. I'm not going to put it on my cheek, I'm going to take it literally into that contour, so to speak. You guys know I don't contour on this channel. I don't like contouring. And I'm going to keep it as that line. When we apply it, when I apply obviously my last layer of Hooja Flip Mineral Veil, that's going to really cement it in. Ooh, so blush. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is use the original SPF 25 Mineral Veil by Bare Minerals. You can use whatever top coat you desire. This is just my personal favourite. And I'm going to come in with what am I going to use? The original Flawless Finish Face Brush. You could use the big Real Techniques brush that I've got here, but I'm going to use this one because I like this one. swirl, tap, and then just go all over. This is going to obviously give the final airbrushed effect. It's also going to blend out that cheek slightly, so it doesn't make me look so, see what I mean? That really blends it out nicely. I'm just going to follow it up and around, so it takes away kind of a harshness of it, but still leaves a wondrousness of it, if you like that phrase. I like wondrousness. Does anybody else? Come over my nose with a stipple brush as well, because you guys know my nose is the bearer of all evil. And I am officially happy and done with the Mad Hatter. So I'm going to come in and let you see again the finished final look. So the one thing I didn't do was a lip colour, and I'm going to finish off quickly with that. Johnny Depp has kind of like a pinky sheen, and I have amongst these this one. This is a Lip Quickie, another Bare Minerals product to throw at you guys. Sorry, Urban, I'm mixing it in. These came from QVC, and this is a really pink shade, like Johnny Depp wears as the Mad Hatter. And that is it. I think I'm done with that. This will obviously fade out a fair bit before I go to work, thankfully, because obviously otherwise I'm going to walk in looking crazy, like I don't always. That was the Mad Hatter. Thank you everyone for staying and watching this slightly insane tutorial. If you would like to subscribe, the channel is down here. If you would like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, they're also down here. I guess I'll see you in a couple of days for Erasabeth or Morana if I decide to do them. Obviously they're harder. This one had so much more possibility, and I'm so pleased with this overall look. It is insanely cool. I will see everyone again for another tutorial. I thought it was about time I did some more makeup videos, because all I seem to do is review products. So this was fun. I'll see everyone again. Enjoy Through the Looking Glass. Bye everyone.